Salute, MobTube. How's everybody doing today? All right, addiction and recovery time. Let me put up my banners before Miss Can't Be Wrong yells at me and puts me in my place. Where you at? Right here. All right, we're good there. Do some shout outs. Got 13 people right now. And, 18. It's going up. And then we'll get started. Miss Can't Be Wrong, Dave, Sally, Sven Larson. Hey now. Let me see. What are we down to? Albaz, Maureen Moe. Who, wait a minute. What happened? What did I miss? Is something happening I don't know about? Uh, hmm. All right, I don't know where I am in the shout outs. Let's see. Joe Root, another fat bald Italian. That's Fax B. Michael Hensley, we love you too. Robert B. And Danny Green. What's good, FPS? Just got done running my mentor mental health program for teens here in Boston. Keep doing what you're doing and helping people, my brother. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, bro. I'm glad to hear you do something like that. Whew. I am hot as a motherfucker. Hold on. I'm going to open this door. I did it again, guys. I did it again. I cut my time short. I took a shower. Hot as a motherfucker, of course, as usual. And then I got out and did a show. Well, this show. Here I am now. And I'm on fire. Let's see. All right. We got 30 people. Yeah, but what about stand-up guy? What is he doing something right now? Because it looks like he is, from what Miss Can't Be Wrong said. Oh my God, are you serious, Albaz? Wow, I would have loved to have seen that. You know, I love to look at Amish people, but that would have been crazy. Did you call the Amish police on him? Let's see. I don't know. I saw a comment that said, no, I can't find it. Right, Albaz, he was on a pogo stick jumping from topic to topic. I was getting lost and dizzy. And before that, thought stand-up guy would go after a few hours. And before that, everything you could imagine, he had a panel. And before that, I meant to say, what was stand-up guy ranting about? What the hell happened? S Sticks, what's up? Jesse James, yeah. Last night. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because I got to get a new chair, guys. I'm telling you, I got to get a new chair. I got to do a fundraiser like Tony Pizza. I'm just kidding. Don't worry, I have chair money. Um, what was I saying? Oh, you know, sometimes I'm at a loss, kind of, for what to talk about on an addiction and recovery show. I just don't, I don't know sometimes what to say, how to conduct one of these. I don't know. But stand-up guy said something that made me think. It's kind of like something I've said before, probably, but not exactly the same. He put it in a much better way than I ever have, I think. Matter of fact, if I had stand-up guy's number, I would have gotten a hold of him before this show because uh, I'd like to have him on here and ask him a few questions. I don't know if he'd be up for that, but I'd like to have him on an addiction or recovery show and ask him a few questions. I think he'd be open to talking about it. So maybe another time. Maybe he'll pop up here now and he can come on. Who knows? But if not, maybe someday. Uh, What about the methadone? Well, I'm not going to get on to that because here's the thing. I just don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. You know what I mean? I don't. And I want to make something clear for everybody because I do feel guilty sometimes when I think about this. I've expressed my opinion on methadone use. Okay. And I have, I'm very, very opinionated. I have very strong opinions. As you guys know, I don't do anything halfway. I kind of go too far with everything I say. So, uh, yeah, I think so too, Miss Campione. Um, what was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? I got distracted by three comments. These three. Oh, the methadone thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. When I give these opinions and I seem kind of like an asshole when I'm talking about methadone and how I feel about it, don't listen to me. Okay, don't listen to me. I don't know any fucking thing about methadone. I know that I know what my opinion of it is. And I know, I know some things, but I don't know it like as a person who used it, who took it, who needed it. I don't know. So if you ever hear me say, it seems like a weak move being on methadone or how long do you have to be on it, ignore me. Now, I will say I don't understand 8 years on methadone. I don't. But again, it's whatever. Okay. There's been people in here who tell me that sometimes you got to take it for life, sometimes 10 years, 20 years. It's all up to the person and how long they think they need it. I just look at one example, you know who that is, of a guy who's been on methadone for a long time. And because of his other behaviors, I have reason to believe he's a very weak individual who uses it as a crutch, almost as a way of still getting high. But if you need that type of maintenance therapy to keep your ass off of heroin, do what you got to do. Don't ever listen to me. Okay. What I say doesn't matter. The only recovery plan I could talk about is mine. And I don't even have one. I never had a recovery plan. My plan was I'm not going to do drugs or drink anymore. And I stuck to it. That's it. I don't know anything about AA. I don't know anything about the 12 steps. Not a thing. Okay. And I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor. I'm not an MD. I'm not somebody, who has knowledge of every aspect of addiction recovery, medication, maintenance, treatment, all that shit. So don't listen to me. I give my opinions on here. That's all. And quite often, as you guys might also have picked up on by now, um, sometimes I'm pointing out not a direct. I'm speaking on a specific person, individual. And it might sound like I'm making a blanket statement, but I'm not always doing that. I remember one time I talked about rednecks and Terry Time went ape shit and thought that I hated rednecks. I couldn't care less. I was talking about a specific person or maybe a couple of people. I forget exactly, but it's stuff like that. Don't take everything I say like, oh, this is how he feels about a certain group or whatever. And it's the same thing with this treatment stuff. If I make fun of a guy for being on methadone for 8 years, it's because of other reasons, not just that. He's a weak individual in my mind. I must not have, Miss Can't Be Wrong, or you would call me and curse me out. You'd call me names, you'd hang up on me, and you'd turn in your wrench, and I can't have that. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll tell you what stand-up guy said. Now, I could go over part of his show and talk about, what a good job I thought he did in certain areas. I think I mentioned some of that last night. But it's not that show, it's addiction and recovery. I'll talk about that maybe tonight. As far as this, yeah. And then, like I said, we're not going to attack anybody on this show. But yes, there are people who, I was always told about addictive personalities. Some people have addictive personalities, and they can't do anything without getting hooked on it. It doesn't even have to be a drug or a drink. It could be anything in life. I didn't know if I believed it always because I thought, again, that was kind of an excuse to let people off the hook for becoming or continuing to be addicts. But No, it's absolutely true. And we see it on here a lot, not just with this particular individual jerk off in Ohio, but other people too. It's not good. There's people and addictive behavior. And I don't know if stand up guy said this last night, but becoming obsessed with a person, with a specific person, talking about them nonstop over and 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 over, even when they're not talking about you. That's the type, when you see that from a person, oh yeah, they could try something once and be a full blown junkie 3 minutes later. So anyway, um, well, see, I don't know that though, Miss Campy, because I agree. What I do know about it, you know, um, tells me that yeah, it is wonderful if used short term. Like for instance, I've seen people get off of dope, get on methadone, and start to rebuild their lives. Okay, and they're not, even though they're still taking methadone, which isn't far from heroin. They're not in the street. They're not stealing. They're not robbing. They're not begging. They're not fucking committing any type of crime or hurting anybody. They just take their dose and do what they got to do. Now, also, everybody I've ever known to be on methadone was off it within 6 months to a year. That's why I was astonished when I heard about a guy being on it 8 years. I don't even know how they allow that. But, I don't know. I look at it like this. And again, don't worry about what I say. Doesn't matter. Do what you got to do. Um, you're not in recovery until you don't have to be on anything. You know, stand up guy said last night, you'll never know what it's like not to need a drink or a drug to get through the day. And he was talking about a specific individual jerk off in Ohio, you know? And there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people like that even if they kick something like dope, they got to be on something else to get them through the fucking day, They got to be on something else. They're always on something. My friend Sean that I worked with at the cookie factory, my favorite job of all time. He I told you the guys the story. He was a dope addict. I mean, he would shoot a bundle before work and he'd be at the mixer next to me making, 3,000 pounds of fucking dough. And he would be scratching himself raw. He'd be bleeding from his neck everywhere. It was fucking disgusting. All right. And he was bad. He's a guy who told me that he shot up motor oil before just so he could do his dope. He needed something, his own blood, urine, you fucking name it. He was bad. But he couldn't not be on something. When he quit dope, because he went to detox for a week or whatever, he immediately started shooting coke. And he would, he would get coke from someone. Doesn't matter who. And, he would shoot coke instead. And I remember when he tried to stop shooting coke, he started smoking weed. And I said to him, bro, and this is, I told you guys this story before, but I don't care. I'm telling it again. I said to him, weed. You fucking hate weed. You feel the same way about weed as I do. You told me a million times. He said, Chris, I have to be on something. And I'll never forget that. See, the thing I love most about my recovery is I don't have to be on anything. My biggest weakness is these fucking cigarettes, which, eventually, trust me, I know me, I'll wake up and I'll say, that's it, I'm not smoking no more. There won't be any weaning off. There won't be any need for medication. I'll just stop smoking. I know me. Hopefully that day comes very soon before I drop fucking dead. But I don't have to be on anything, and I love that. I don't need a drink. I don't need a drug. I told you, I won't even take fucking CBD for issues that I have, anxiety, sleep, everything else. I'm going to change that ringtone, guys. I promise I will. Mike Oxhuge sent 1999, said, what up, bro? Thank you, my man, for the 1999. And yes, I got your texts here. I appreciate that. You guys don't have to donate on these shows, but if you do, I won't stop you, I guess, right? Where was I at exactly? Yeah, I like the fact that Sorry, guys. Let me see something here. Somebody said something. Where was that at? Yeah, well, I guess sometimes it isn't Tony Ducks. I don't know. I don't either, but I guess if you're desperate and you got to get the shit in you. Let me see something. Just give me a second. I'm looking for a comment. All right, I guess I was seeing things. I guess I was seeing things. Let me see here. Yeah, I must have been. Anyway, I think somebody said Terry Time is not a fan of mine. Listen, I can't express the ways I don't give a fuck. You know how many different ways I give zero fucks about whether or not she likes me. I couldn't care less. It goes for everybody else too. I don't care. Whoever doesn't like me, that's cool. I do better with enemies than I do friends. Let me see something here. Sally, $5. Thank you, Sally. I appreciate that very much. Um, so yeah, that's the thing, you know. And sometimes I judge others based on my recovery, and I shouldn't do that either. See, the way I understand recovery, and again, I'm not somebody who's done AA. I only spoke at meetings. I never walked into an NA meeting. Okay. And you know, all I ever did was like refuge and I did my therapy, different types of, you know, therapy classes and groups at rehab and, you know, shit like that. But I got to opt out of certain things, and AA I opted out of. And I told you guys why before. I have many, many reasons why. So, um, I judge people sometimes, I think, based on the fact that I conduct my recovery in a way that, you know, it's complete and total abstinence from everything. No alcohol, no drugs, no matter what, even if it's something I never had a problem with before. But again, that doesn't matter. Whatever keeps you, um, whatever keeps you in a condition, I'll say, or whatever, where um, you're not destroying your life or hurting anyone. Then you know you do what you got to do. And if you know you get off dope and you like to have a drink every now and then or something, who the fuck am I to tell you you're not supposed to? Or, you know, it just, you know, it's not for me personally. Because somebody in here once, I think it was Mikhail one, I think I offended him. He said something like he still has a beer every now and then. Well, you know, all I would say to that I stick by is that, you know, you could say you're clean then, I guess, but not sober, you know, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, who cares what anybody thinks or what label you could put on something? If you're doing better than you were and you're not hurting anybody, you're not destroying your life, you're not blowing every fucking dime you have and stealing from the people around you and shit like that, then, you know, you do what you got to do. I just wanted to open the show by saying that because sometimes, you know, I'm extremely fucking opinionated. And when I can't just give my opinion on something, I have to drive it home. You know what I mean? And insist on just how right I am. You know, that's that's my thing, and it's not for me. I've never been addicted to any type of opiate. I've never even taken any type of opiate or opioid, whatever. I just never have. You know, I told you I had a pretty major surgery. I got Percocet and I sold them. I didn't even take them. So I was on fentanyl when they did my PVC ablation, and I just mean during the surgery. You know, uh, that's it. So you know, I don't get it like people who've experienced it do. Of course, you can't. It's just like when people try to tell me when I was an alcoholic, you don't need a drink, you want a drink. Who the fuck are you to tell me? I'm the one who's dying right now. I'm the one whose heart's going through his chest, and I'm about to have a fucking grand mal seizure because I'm going through alcohol withdrawal. You know, I understand alcoholism and the recovery process. You know, at least in my case. You know, I don't have the same understanding of opiate or opioid, whatever, addiction. Okay, I just don't. I don't. I'm very fortunate not to have an understanding of it. But just don't ever take what I say on here or anything and feel bad about yourself because you might be on methadone or Suboxone or something. Don't pay attention to me. I told you I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor. I come on here, I tell my stories. I like to hear you guys tell yours. I read some comments and try to get your opinions on things and shit, but I don't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm just trying to do something good to help people. That's it. That's it. Other than that, I'm no pro. Maybe someday, hopefully, I can become a counselor or something in some sort of treatment center and I'll have more knowledge of this stuff. But right now, I just don't. So I got to listen to you guys as well as you listening to me. Tony Ducks, trust me, FPS, most of us don't pay attention to you. Tony Ducks, that's the way it should be. I am a babbling idiot. You shouldn't. You should not. You laugh at my jokes and stuff, but aside from that, don't take anything I say seriously. That's why I love you, bro. See, that's what I expect out of my chat. I expect you to roast me. I like it. If I do something or say something stupid, like one time, what the fuck did I do? Did I do something in a community post? I made somebody feel real bad about it too. I think it was when I put up a picture of my foot all burned up, and somebody came in here. Who was it that made fun of my vitiligo and my foot? And of course, completely and totally pretending. I was like, "You think that's funny? You think that's funny? You know what I went through my whole life. Embarrassing as a kid it was to have this shit all over my body, and till this day, it's very embarrassing to me. It makes me very uncomfortable in certain public situations and stuff. You think that's funny? You think making fun of a guy with vitiligo is funny? And of course, I was joking. And I think for like 3 days after, the guy kept telling me how sorry he was. And I'm like, bro, I was fucking kidding. I totally expect that. I thought whatever I do, if you could make fun of me, do it. That's the difference between us and everybody else. That's one of a million. I don't know about you guys. I think we could all laugh at ourselves, but I know for a fact I can. Yeah, I agree, Ward. Thank you, man. I don't know if I teach anything, but I will tell you I learn from you guys. I do. So anyway, I didn't even get to the point. What stand up guy said last night is, and I've said a variation of this, like I said, but not. I don't think I put it as well as he did. He said, "You'll never know what it's like to wake up in the morning." Now, in his case, he was talking about jumping in his pool, doing a bunch of laps, getting in the shower. I don't know what that's like either, and I'm actually slightly jealous. I want to find out, but we tore our pool down. And it wasn't nearly as nice. It wasn't in ground. Um, you know, it doesn't matter if you add little specifics to it like that. Like, oh, you jump in the pool and whatever. Because he also said, "What's up, Arthur Stilwell?" Um, he gets up every morning and he feels great, and he says to his wife, "Where do you want to go? What do you want to do today, baby? You want to go have brunch? You want to go have lunch? What do you want to do?" I relate to that 100%, and he's right. He's right. I told you guys. One of the best fucking things about recovery is waking up. And one of the worst things about addiction is waking up. Oh my God. I mean, especially if you're an alcoholic, but no matter what you do, no matter what you do. He said that he used to throw hot water on the birds in the morning because they were, doing what birds do, whatever the fuck that is, chirping and shit. And his thing was, "What are you so happy for?" It's fun. It was actually funny, but it's true. He would say, "What do you say?" He was mad at the birds, and he would say, What are you so happy for?" "I gotta go. I gotta get up and go cop." See, now that's in the life of someone like a heroin addict. Now, in my case, it's pretty fucking similar, except well, I'll put it this way. Like with cocaine, for example, everybody's heard of the cocaine blues and stuff. Now, as you get more and more addicted to cocaine, you don't get that as much. It's not like when you first start, you binge hard for a weekend and then for the next 3 days you want to die. It's not like that after a while, but it's still pure fucking misery. You wake up, your nose is all fucked up. I don't care how long you've been doing coke. You feel like absolute dog shit. Most likely you drank your ass off the night before, so you got that taste in your mouth and your eyes are dry. It's fucking miserable. And the first thing you want to do if you're addicted to cocaine and you're not just somebody who uses it recreationally is you want to get up and do a line immediately to make yourself feel better. Same thing with drinking. The worst part of alcoholism is waking up because even the blackouts don't count until you wake up and realize that you blacked out. If you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a blackout, you're doing what you're doing, whatever. It's very dangerous. Anything can happen. You never know. You could do something violent. You could do something illegal. You could do something both. And then it is what it is. You're not even aware that you're in a blackout, but you wake up the next day and you realize, I don't remember anything. Nothing. Like, I told you guys, I would wake up, my wrists hurting, and I'd be like, oh my God, fuck, I got arrested. And now my phone is gone, my jacket's gone, my keys are gone. I got to start, I remember the one time that happened, I had to walk around. Luckily, on Richland and Princess in York City, there was still a payphone. This was that, you guys remember I showed you, I told you New Year's Eve, I believe it was 2010 going into 2011. If it wasn't, it was 11. No, it was 10 into 11. I was docket number 2 in the York County court system for the year 2011. Yeah. There was a guy I had a little beef with. He was at the club I was at. He made a comment. I beat him up a little bit. And then, I got arrested right afterwards. And, I got taken to the precinct and all that shit and fucking, they did their thing, fingerprints, all that horse shit. I got cited, whatever. And I woke up the next day, I guess they took me home or something. I had no idea what happened. All I knew is that I was at this bar with a friend of mine named Andrew and a couple of girls, Brandy, and I forget the other chick. And we were at a table, and I had a leather jacket, and I had it on the back of the chair, and I had my keys and my phone sitting on the table because they were all there. And I was going to the bathroom. And when I was walking to the bathroom, this other asshole walked past me coming out of the bathroom and made a comment to me that I didn't like. So I fucked him up a little bit, choked him, beat him up, and got arrested. And the next day, all that stuff was gone, phone, keys, jacket, and my wrists were killing me. I get up to go do a line because I always had my Coke out of my fucking dresser. And I see the fucking, the citation on top of my dresser. And I'm like, oh, shit. It said public drunkenness, engaging in fighting. So I showed you guys that's another thing. I told you that story 3 or 4 times without any proof of it. And then Tony Pizza puts up my record one day, and there it is on my record. And I was like, holy shit. And I used the same app he used to find it. And I proved it. It was exactly what I told you. Public drunkenness, engaging in fighting. I got in a fight at a club, New Year's Eve, 2010 into 2011. I got arrested right after midnight. I was docket number 2. So that's another one of those things that, this is how you know I'm not lying. Everything I say down to the very last detail turns out to be 100% true. But I remember, I had to walk around trying to figure out where the fuck I could use a phone and get a hold of my friends and find out what happened the night before. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying. They told me the whole story. I'm like, Jesus Christ, now I got to go to one chick's house. I got to get there to get she's got my keys. My friend Andrew has my coat, my phone. It's like fucking nightmare, and then, that's just one occasion. Anytime, when you're an alcoholic, especially if you're an alcoholic and a coke addict, when you're cross addicted like that, you're using both. And you fucking wake up, you feel like shit from the night before. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You feel like death. And when you're an alcoholic, that's when waking up is really the one thing you never want to do. And I'm not kidding. Because when I was real bad with alcoholism, I told you guys, I would go to bed hoping I don't wake up. You wake up and you're already in withdrawal. You're already in withdrawal. So you're already in pain. You're already sick. You're probably going to start vomiting right away. You're pouring sweat. You're having the fucking the shakes, the DTs, all that crazy shit. And you know that if you don't get some Serious alcohol, and I'm not talking about a beer. I'm talking about 6 or 7 shots minimum of something 80 proof or more. You're going to die. And I'm not just saying that, it's not an exaggeration. Look at alcohol withdrawal, the 3 main things that happen not long after a severe alcoholic goes into withdrawal: heart attack, stroke, seizure. And the seizure, of course, could lead to death. So it's a fucking nightmare. And now, let me just see something. Hold on. Oh, good. I just got good news. What was I going to say? Oh, now, I wake up and I have my bad days because of shit that's happened in my past. I have nightmares, and sometimes I wake up really fucked up, as far as mentally, and I stay that way throughout the day. That's pretty bad. But for the most part, I wake up, I'm excited to wake up. Not as much as I was before YouTube, because now every day when I wake up, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to find out. I ain't going to lie. I told you that causes me major stress and anxiety. But still, I know that when I wake up, I'm going to be clear-headed. I'm going to be feeling pretty goddamn good, and I'm going to have the whole day ahead of me to do whatever I want with. If Shanna's off work, we'll go out and do stuff together. Maybe we'll do stuff around the house. We'll spend time together. We'll plan for later that night. We'll have dinner, watch a movie. When I'm alone by myself, I wake up and I did it today. It's like, okay, I feel good. I just got to decide what I'm going to do, and I can go do it. I had to go get blood work. I went and did that. I needed a few things. I went and bought a few things. I'm doing this show. After this, I'm going to go back out, enjoy myself for a while, And I feel well enough every morning to do that. And I have the freedom, because if there's one thing you don't have when you're addicted to any substance, is freedom. And freedom is the most important thing in life. Believe that. Even with all the money in the world, okay? If you don't have freedom, you got nothing. Even with health, you could be in the best of health, but if you don't have your freedom, what good is it? And addiction takes your freedom, because now it's not up to you. Just like stand-up guy said, he woke up, he had to go cop. He didn't have the freedom to make decisions. He didn't have the freedom to go about his day however he wanted to. Nope. He had to go cop. He had to get higher. He was in serious, serious trouble. He'd get very, very sick. And that's, how the rest of your day goes as well. Every day of your life is dictated by your addiction. You have to, like me, forget the cocaine. Forget about that. The alcoholism. Okay? Because let's not forget, cocaine is a mental addiction. Nobody needs cocaine. I don't care if you've been doing it 50 years every single day, morning, noon, and night. The only thing that's going to crave the cocaine is your mind, not your body. The alcoholism is it's probably pretty similar to dope addiction, as far as you need a certain amount in you at all times, or you're going to be violently ill. You're going to be and of course, it's worse than dope addiction, because you'll die. You won't die from dope withdrawal. You'll just wish you were dead. Alcohol withdrawal, you'll die. So my routine, even when I was a teenager, I would wake up. I don't remember shit from the night before, so I had no idea if I had any liquor on hand. So I'd have to check wherever I usually keep my bottle, next to my bed, whatever, how much is in there. Is that enough for me to even get out of bed, to feel well enough to get out of bed? Okay, and then let's just say it's just enough for that. Okay, my mission begins. I have to get more. Not only do I have to get more, I have to get a sufficient amount. I have to get enough that I know I'm good until the next fucking day. And hopefully I have extra, so when I wake up the next day, I can actually feel good enough to get out of fucking bed and start that mission all over again. It's miserable. It's miserable. This is why, I believe there's 2 different types of alcoholism. Seriously. In my opinion. There's the type of alcoholism that I went through. where you're severely physically addicted to hard liquor. Okay, because beer ain't gonna do shit for you. Okay, by the time you get enough beer in you to take the withdrawal away, you already pissed it out, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, and then there's the type where people can function completely normally, and they really just they do the majority of their drinking when they have time to do it. Whether it could be all fucking day if they have the day off, or it could just be from say 5 until 10 at night after work and before they go to bed. It could be just on the weekends. And again, I don't want to minimize anybody's addiction, but to me, that's not true alcohol addiction, because I felt true alcohol addiction numerous times in my life. And it's when you and don't get me wrong, you're still an alcoholic, and if you are in even in your mind in need of alcohol, um, the majority of your time, I'm not saying that you're not an alcoholic. I'm saying that I believe true alcoholism is when your body needs it now, your brain needs it, and that's because I went through it. The one AA meeting I went to, I think, I don't know. I think it was AA. I'm not sure. I was in outpatient rehab after the seizure I had, and I went to a green group at York Hospital. It was called the Green Group, and I think it was in the green room actually in the fucking hospital next to the cafeteria, something like that. And you could look it up. They still have it till this day. I didn't participate in most of it, but I think at first, if I remember, all I remember is this. I don't know, guys. I remember that I was there long enough in the meeting where, they went around and asked us about our alcoholism. Okay. And then I believe I sat it out in the cafeteria and just listened from a distance. I wasn't comfortable in it. Everybody in there, I'm talking about guys twice my size, twice my age, and much older and much bigger than that, even. Okay. We're talking about their stories with addiction, with alcoholism, and they were given specifics, and they would all say things like, I drink a case a day, or a 12-pack a day, or something like that, or even a case and a half a day. And then it came around to me, and they said, how much were you drinking? And I said a minimum of a fifth of vodka a day, but quite often as much as a half gallon. Now, at the time, don't forget, I just got out of intensive care. I was in a coma for 7 days. I was about 100. Remember, when I went in the hospital, I was 112 pounds. After them stuffing me full of food and Ensure and stuff like that, and vitamin bags and everything else, I might have been up to 120, 122. Okay, so you figure 5'8", 5'9". 120, 122 tops. I'm sitting in a meeting with all these big husky guys and shit. They're all talking about drinking some beer. And I told them what I was drinking, and they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. It's 100,000% fucking true. And then, I told them a little bit more about the outcome, why I was at, in outpatient rehab at the time, and why I was at that meeting or whatever. And, it became a little more believable, because you don't go through what I went through medically if you're just drinking some beer. Even if you're drinking a case a day, So that was it for me. I think I sat out the rest in the fucking cafeteria or something. And A meetings were never my thing. I never really believed in AA, but I don't knock anybody who does. My point is, though, that's severe alcoholism. It's a fucking nightmare. It's not like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work, and when I get off, I'm going straight to the fucking to the store and I'm getting a few 6-packs or a case, and I'll drink until I go to sleep. No, 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 no. When you're a severe alcoholic, you don't have that luxury. You don't have that option. You start drinking immediately, and you drink as much as you need before you can even start functioning. And even then, you're only barely functioning because you have to keep a constant flow of liquor in your body. After the DJ business, after I pretty much threw that away, and I blew what was a small fortune and ran up a whole bunch of credit cards trying to kill my fucking self. Traveling and everything else and doing nutty shit. Because they told me I was dying when I left the psych ward. So I figured, fuck it, what do I need all this money for? And who cares about credit? So I started doing wild shit with money, you know? And I blew a lot of fucking money. I went into a lot of debt. But I wound up getting a job at a fucking Fuddruckers. No joke. This is like 2007, 2008. This is before I got the job at the cookie factory. And I was working there, and I had gotten to the point again, even though after I got out of the psych ward, I stayed cleanish for a while. I got to the point again where I was drinking and doing fucking coke. And I was there one night and I had a big fucking cup that I filled up. It was like, I mean, one of those big ass cups that you get like at a, you know, I don't know, whatever. You get the point. Huge, like a big giant slushy cup type of shit. Right. And I fucking filled up like 3/4 of it with vodka, and then the rest might have been a little soda, something like that. And I had it in the back of the kitchen, you know, where nobody could see it. And I'm working the line and stuff. I was like the head grill cook, whatever, you know. I was working the fucking line, and then I'd have to go back there from time to time to drink as much of this as I could. You know, I'm trying to hold a fucking spatula in my hands like this and shit. It was a nightmare. And you know, you're standing over the grill and you're just pouring fucking sweat, and you feel like you want to fucking die, because I woke up in that state of withdrawal, and I went to work that day feeling like that. And anybody who knows, I mean, that is you picture the worst hangover you've ever had times 1,000. That's what alcohol withdrawal feels like when you wake up. Everything hurts. Your insides are shaking. Your hands are shaking. You're pouring sweat. You're dry heaving. Unless you have something in your stomach, you're throwing that right the fuck up. But you usually don't. You know, and it's just a nightmare. It's a never-ending fucking mission to keep enough in you to stay alive. It's not even about getting drunk anymore. It's not even about enjoying drinking. You just have no choice. That's, again, for the millionth time, why it's easy for me to stay sober now, is because I never had that mental addiction. Ooh, I can't wait to get off at 5 o'clock to go drink. Ooh, I can't wait till the weekend to drink. No. I was physically addicted. And once that physical addiction was taken away by, you know, some sort of medical detox, I felt better. And that's how I am now. I get my cravings and shit, but, you know. And, you know, back to the original point is stand-up guy hit the nail on the fucking head. See, Johnny Mac, you know, for example, and I'm not doing a show to trash anybody, but I'm using him as an example because he's probably the most severe drug addict on here, other than Lefty. Okay, let's be honest. He wakes up, he's got to take his methadone. If he doesn't have it, he goes into a panic. There was one of those text messages, I think he got in a fight with the people at the office one time because they were making him wait too fucking long. He's agitated, you know, he's basically going through withdrawal. He's got to take his methadone, okay? But that's not enough. You know, throughout the day, there's got to be enough weed to keep him going. Constantly has a joint in his mouth. Constantly. And then, you know, drinking. It's a fact that he drinks. It's not my opinion. He drinks. I don't know how often, but he drinks still. And, you know, by his own admission, he takes pills. Benzos. Okay, which is a deadly combination with the fucking methadone. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky someday. But sorry, guys. Even on an addiction and recovery show, I gotta be me. He's still a slave to that shit. You know what I mean? I looked at those text messages from Jen Bailey, and it's like, you know, every other text message, I'm about to dose and take a nap. I'm about to dose and take a nap. Like, wow. This is, you plan your day around taking your dose and then taking a nap. And then when you wake up, light a joint. And then if that's not enough, have a drink. And then maybe throw some benzos in there. It's insane. And he doesn't understand, and probably never will, what it feels like to wake up feeling like I do, or stand-up guy does, or many of you do. You wake up and your day is yours. You do what you want with it. You do what you want with it, and you feel well enough to do so. It's the most beautiful part of recovery. It really is. It's beautiful. Anyway, let me take some comments from you guys. I bet your culinary creations were just amazing back then. Yeah. I don't know. If I remembered, I would tell you. I just don't remember much of it. Huge blackout. I had years long blackouts, not just day or night long blackouts. And it's honestly sad. And that's no bullshit. One of my biggest regrets, one of the things I hate most about the fact that I spent all that time addicted to all this shit is that I lost time. I lost tons of time, chunks. I was in an entire fucking, 3.5 year long relationship with an amazing girl. Fucking smoking hot, drop dead fucking gorgeous. A fucking master's degree in behavioral health. Behavioral science? Behavioral science, I believe. One of those. Had an incredible fucking job running an entire behavioral health program at a fucking hospital. Was the kind of chick you want to marry. And she did want to marry me. And she wanted to have kids. I'll never understand why. I was far from her type. She was an Italian girl, but she was from a very wealthy family in the Poconos. And she was highly educated, and her whole crew of friends was completely the opposite, from me and my friends. I was a criminal. I was a bad guy. She was like, her and her friends were the people who did everything right. Not a single one of them, I'm hanging around them when they're 24, 25 years old. You're talking about a group of 10, 12 girls. Not a single one of them had a baby. Not a single one of them was even considering having a baby. They got their education. They were beginning their careers. They were buying homes. They were getting established, and all that shit comes later, which is the way, guys, it should be done. And I saw that because the way I grew up and the people I grew up around, it was the complete and total opposite. You drop out of high school, you have a fucking kid, hopefully you got your shit together enough to provide some sort of fucking living. And even if you do, you're probably still a knucklehead in the streets getting arrested, getting hooked on drugs, alcohol, whatever, a different world. Anyway, we had, like I said, a 3.5 year long relationship where I wasn't really using at all. I would drink with her. This is the girl I talk about from time to time. I would drink with her like on weekends, sometimes only once a month, twice a month. But no addiction issues, even though I'd gone through it twice already where I had to be medically detoxed. I was able to just go out and drink. I could drink Friday and Saturday night, and Sunday I feel a little shitty, and I go back to work Sunday night, and boom, I don't even think about it again for a week or two. And I only went with her, because she was a college girl. That's what her and her friends did. You're going to hang out, you're going to be at the bars. Anyway, I was barely on anything other than that, drinking here and there. Throughout that entire relationship, I went from the stupid fucking restaurant to a great job where I had progressed in a major way throughout the entire time I worked there. I progressed the entire time. I became a shift lead. I was fucking, my pay rate from when I started, within 2 years, I was up like $6-7 a fucking hour from what I started. I was very, very good at my job. I didn't miss work. I loved it. I worked as many hours as I could. I never missed an overtime day or a double time day if I could get it. And I had my shit together. I had my apartment for me and my daughter. She was with me every other fucking week, um, uh, for a week at a time, obviously. We went on vacations. We had amazing holidays, everything. I was the man again. I had all my shit together. I was doing great. Great father. Okay boyfriend. Pretty good son. But I barely remember that relationship. You know why? It wasn't about the using and stuff during the relationship. It was about all that use surrounding that time period, before and after. Before the relationship, I was a complete and total fucking mess. I basically cleaned up because of her, because I had met her, and I got myself, to the point where I just described, and I stayed like that for years. But afterwards, that relationship ended. I lost that job I loved, and eventually, I was at the job, I think, about a year or so after the relationship ended, and that was it. I was back to using, and I had probably the worst run of my life, and I had some bad runs. You're talking about several years um, of being a full blown cocaine addict and alcoholic. You're using a ball a day minimum, and drinking a half gallon a day minimum. And that, remember, the fifth a day and stuff, that's when I was a teenager. By the time I got real, real bad, and I'm in my fucking 30s, it was different. Half gallon a day minimum. Not all the time, most of the time. And all I did, because I was hustling, I wasn't working for 2, 3 years. I would wake up every fucking morning. I would go out, go across the street. The whole block was ours. It was all friends. I showed you the fucking block. Even my daughter and her mother lived right across the fucking street. And I'd be on the block all day. I'd be out hustling, selling drugs. I'd be with the Mexicans across the street. We'd always have a couple cases of Corona. My man Popcorn next door, he's from the dirty South. I'd give him money every fucking day. He'd go make us a gallon of fucking crunk juice. If you ever had crunk juice, you understand the effects of that. It's nothing to play around with. And I would do this shit every fucking day, and I had a horrible run where I had more blackouts and blank periods than ever. And I think because of that, the stuff that happened in between, which would be that the time of that relationship and stuff, I barely remember. I mean, I talked to my daughter not too long ago, and she brought up something that I had totally forgotten about. When I was with this specific girl and shit. It's strange, because I feel like I lost so much time. It's not that even the clean time in between was lost. It's like a whole fucking time period from maybe 2007 to 2019. I'm not kidding. I mean, that's what it feels like sometimes. Of course, I remember shit. I know what was going on to an extent, but, I lost so much. And a lot of good things happened. A lot of good relationships took place. A lot of friendships were made. A lot of fun was had, needless to say. But I lost so much of it. And I'll never get it back, And look what I've done to myself. Look what I've done to myself. There's not a day where I don't feel the effects of all the damage. My sinuses are destroyed now. That's catching up to me. Okay, up until a year and a half ago, that wasn't even a thing. I was fine. I had the big giant crater, but never bothered me. I'm starting to have dental issues. I got to get a whole bunch of work done. I got to get a fucking crown on the 10th. Okay, I have a loose tooth that's going to need to get a fucking implant. That's going to be $4,000, and I ain't losing no fucking teeth. I'm going to have to get that. I have 2 wisdom teeth that need to be pulled. So that's catching up to me. And I was always somebody who took care of my teeth. But, when you use constant cocaine and liquor, you're going to do severe damage. I'm very fortunate that I only have a few issues dental wise. For the most part, my teeth are fine. It's just, a few. My health is destroyed. Let's be honest. I have whether people want to believe it or not, look it up. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. A terminal illness that could cause me to drop fucking dead at any given time. I could live 20, 30 years, maybe. Highly doubt it. I think they tell me that to make me feel good. Best case scenario, I don't think they ever said 30. I could live a fairly normal life. Maybe I'll die in my 60s. You know? But most likely not. And any given day, I could wake up and I could have a 10% ejection fraction. I could have it right now. Last night, look, during the show, I couldn't breathe. I had to go get a fucking albuterol pump. It's been happening more and more lately. I got this appointment on the 10th. I'm going to get an echocardiogram after that. Who knows what the fuck they're going to tell me? They might tell me that I have the same ejection fraction as my mother right now, and I could be dead a few months later. Got blood work today. I could find out, God forbid, that my kidneys are failing like my mother's were, and they have to take me off life-sustaining medication like they did with her. And I got to face this shit every day, and I have no one to blame but myself. But I constantly have to look in the mirror because I am somebody who refuses not to take personal responsibility. I don't blame it on a disease. I don't blame it on my childhood. I don't blame it on my parents. I don't blame it on my environment or my friends. I blame it all on me. And I have to face the fact every fucking time I'm starting to feel the effects of one of these health issues, I have to take the blame. It is my blame. And I have to, face that. I did this to myself. Not to mention the stuff I've done to people around me that they certainly didn't deserve. Even, my life in general. I was a drug dealer, no matter what. And even if I was clean and sober 100%, I would have been dealing drugs. It didn't matter. These people who like to think I was doing it to support my habit, I was selling drugs I didn't even use. So that theory's out the window. And I mean, for years, I sold marijuana. I hate marijuana. I sold fucking 10 pounds a week, broken up into ounces and shit, quarters, fucking halves, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was a drug dealer. I probably would have gotten the felonies anyway, but still, even those felonies were because of drugs, not because of drug use, but because of drug dealing. I can't own a fucking gun. I can't travel. I can't go see Shanna's family in Canada or London. I can't go see them. You know what I mean? London, England. I'm not sure exactly where. I forget. I can't go, take these trips with her and travel and do these things she'd love to do because I'm not allowed in probably 80% of the countries in the fucking world. I'm not allowed to enter because I'm a 2-time felon. You know what I'm saying? And I don't, bitch or complain. It's all my fault. And I did it to myself. But that's why I love to do these shows, because there are people out there who have not done all this damage to themselves yet, but they're on their way. And I didn't even mention the half of it. There's things in my life that are destroyed because of my drug and alcohol use that I'm just never going to talk about on here. There's things I've lost, possessions, the money. Oh my fucking God. I could probably never work again. Okay. If I saved 1/3 of all the money I made during the years I was using and selling drugs and shit. Holy fuck. Nothing to show for a lot of it. Some jewelry, some clothes I may still have, some, but I destroyed my DJ business. I, till this day, would be a successful DJ. I guarantee it. I was on a roll. I was popular. I was in demand. And I had my own mobile DJ service. And I could still have that, A lot of things were destroyed, and I lost a lot. But it's nobody's fault but my own. So I look at a guy like Lefty, for example. Lefty has a clean record. He has a clean record, and who knows? For all we know, his health could be destroyed because of his use. And this is not to bash Lefty. I'm just saying, because I brought up that. I like to think that maybe I could help somebody with these shows, and we hate each other, me and Lefty. That's fine. I'm using him as an example because I'm sure he's not the only one who might see these shows from time to time, who's in the predicament he's in. He still has a clean record. Like I said, we don't know. His health could be destroyed. He might be on death's doorstep, or He might just have some liver damage, and maybe if he gets clean, because he's still fairly young, all that'll correct itself. That's how the liver works. It's an amazing organ. And you'd be shocked how the rest of the body could heal as well. And he could get himself, straightened out. Get to working or opening a fucking business, meet somebody, maybe get married, have some kids, and have a normal life. He can still do that. There are people who can. You don't want to go so far that you're too far gone. And I've gone that far. There's no repairing my health. It's impossible. There's no cure for what I have. I have to live with that, and I have to die with it. I hate to see anybody else have to live with these regrets and go to their grave knowing that if they would have made better choices or listened to some good advice, they could live to be 90 fucking years old and die comfortably in their home, surrounded by family and friends of natural causes. I have to go to my grave knowing that I sent myself there much earlier than I should have. So I'm honored anytime I hear that these shows help anyone, and it makes me very happy when I know that I may have made a difference. I don't know how much of a difference I've made in anyone's life, but I know in a couple of people's lives I have. And that's the most I could do, to repent for my sins, I guess, so to speak. I'm not religious. And maybe make something out of my life that I fucking destroyed a long time ago. That's why these shows are important to me, and that's why I tell these stories, and I make it clear to you just how much I fucked myself up. I'm not one of these people. I don't care who I'm at war with. I'm not going to sit here and pretend everything's hunky-dory and peaches and cream, and I have no regrets, and I wake up every day feeling like $1,000,000 and I don't wish I could go back and correct things. I'm perfectly comfortable where I am. No, I do wake up feeling good. I wake up, I have my freedom. I'm healthy enough, I guess you could say, relatively speaking, considering what's wrong with me, to still enjoy that freedom and free time and, whatever. But of course, I also have to live every day knowing that I did irreparable damage to my life and to lives around me in some cases. I have no choice. It's not a good way to live. It's not. You don't want to be like that. Now, some stuff over time, you learn to forgive yourself for to an extent, but you never really can, You never really can. Every time I go to a doctor and I have to be told the condition of my heart and how many years I might have left, I have to remind myself, you probably wouldn't be doing this if you didn't fuck your whole life up with drugs and alcohol. You'd probably be off doing something else right now. And if you had a doctor's appointment, it'd probably be a hell of a lot more positive, and you wouldn't be getting horrible news, shit like that. So even though I'm happy and I have my freedom and shit, I have tons of regrets, and that's another thing that makes me stay clean and sober. I don't want to create any more regret. I do not. I don't want to do any more damage. So I have to, live with it every day and kick myself in the ass for the rest of my fucking life because of the stuff I did wrong, There's enough of that already. And any of you who have suffered from a severe addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever, you're going to spend the rest of your life with regret. But you can limit the amount of that regret. You could cut it off where it is. You don't have to add to it. And that's why it makes me sad, even if it's somebody on here I don't like. Even if it's somebody I don't like, and I see them suffering and I see them in the worst conditions of health, It breaks my fucking heart that they won't do anything to get better because they could have a real life and they could recover from this shit. So, anyway, guys, that's my spiel. Sorry. If I was better at this, maybe I would be reading comments and talking to people. I don't know. Sometimes I click live and this is just what happens. Even this. I got to guzzle fucking water because I'm on a medication that makes me piss. And if I don't take that medication, I'll fill up with fluid. I'll go into heart failure and I'll be in the fucking intensive care unit again. So if I don't guzzle water, I'm dehydrated as a motherfucker. I feel like shit. I have no energy. It fucks with you mentally. I got to spend my day balancing all this shit, It's not good. You don't want to do this shit to yourself. I'm telling you guys. And if you think it's just cocaine, I'm telling you straight up. I told you before, when they found out how bad a shape my heart was in, and I talked to several doctors about it, they said it's due much more to the alcohol than the cocaine. The cocaine, it speeds up your heart. It does things like that. Of course, it's not good for you. But the alcohol, it's everywhere. It's in your veins, and it saturates everything, so to speak. If you know what I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. And the effects are much more severe and long lasting and much more destructive. So, it's sad, but I just hope that maybe somebody every now and then from one of these shows could listen to my story and use it to fucking scare themselves straight, because I, again, don't know what I'm doing. I don't. I just come on here and tell you my story, and my story is terrifying. It is. It is. I was a relatively healthy guy. I never even had high blood pressure. Up to 36 years old. Every physical was great. I never had a health issue. Never had a broken fucking bone. Never had a fucking hospital stay. Oh well, I'm sorry. I take that back. Of course, when I was 19, I had the seizure and shit. But I mean, even after that, I had, when I left there, I had bone marrow damage, kidney damage, liver damage, and an enlarged heart. And within a few years, all my numbers were normal again. My numbers, as Lee would say, they were normal again. I was perfectly healthy. I went through uh, the shit I went through with the medical detox and fucking being hospitalized and shit like that. But I never, other than that, this is what I should have said. I'm sorry. Other than that stuff, I never, was in the hospital with a terrible illness. I was never in the hospital for broken bones. I was never in the hospital for any type of surgery I may have needed due to an illness. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you subtract the alcohol and cocaine, till this day, I'd probably be a perfectly healthy individual who never even had so much as high blood pressure. Maybe it runs in the family a little bit, the heart thing. And years from now, 10, 20 years from now, I might have developed congestive heart failure, but not at the age of 36. Uh, Christopher, so hope you're well, brother. Shannon, the kids too. Also praying mom is doing the very best she can. Stay strong. Well, let me update you real quick before I go. My mom calls me about 1 o'clock today. She's a fucking nervous wreck. I could hear, her shaking in her voice. Now, don't get me wrong. My mom is an old Italian lady from Brooklyn, so that's almost a reaction to everything that happens. I grew up with it. I was raised with it. I know it. We all know the Italian mothers. We know. With my mom, it could be because somebody just got hit by a car, or because she just won the Powerball. She'll be a nervous wreck. It don't fucking matter. You never know until you hear the details. Well, what's wrong? Is it bad? Is it good? I love her to death. But she's a nervous wreck. And I said, what's going on? She said, the coordinator called. I think they're going to do the Barristan. I said, what? Now, like I told you guys, they didn't give a hard no. They said the doctor said she's going to talk to the surgeon and see what he thinks about whether or not they would do the Barristan. We pretty much ruled it out because of the blockages. So she says, I think they're going to do the Barristan. Now, I want to get excited about this, but we don't quite know because this is a coordinator. It was not the doctor. They just called to make an appointment so she could do x-rays and stuff, so they know where to put the leads and everything, because she's got the pacemaker, defibrillator, they have to check everything out, where there's space for this, that. So they want to do x-rays to, know where to place everything. So it sounds like, holy fuck, they're going to do the Barristan, right? Guess when this appointment is? December 5th. 2 months away to do the x-rays. So I said to my mom, well, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? December 5th. Okay, so we got to hope nothing goes wrong before December 5th, which, I have my concerns right now. Things are changing with her. Getting more tired, more often, and some other stuff. You heard her breathing and coughing and shit. So now it's like, okay, we made it this far. They tell her 2 weeks. At least one doctor did. Fucking asshole. They tell her 2 weeks. Now we're what? How far? What was that? The 22nd of August. It's about maybe a month and a half in or so. After they told her that. Okay? It's a miracle. According to the doctor who said she has 2 weeks, I guess it would be a miracle she's still here on October fucking 4th, right? They told her that on August 22nd. So now we got to hope we make it to December 5th to get the x-ray. And then, if that's and they told us the quickest we can get you in for that. What happens after that? When's the next appointment? January, February, March, April, May? When? What is it going to be? 3 fucking years before she gets the thing? Is she even going to get it? Like, we can't get direct answers. So, I don't know whether to be excited or not, because they told her that she has a 60% blockage here and a 70% blockage here, which would mean, and they said, that's why they didn't want to do the Barristan, or they were, kind of leaning towards not doing it because they don't want to play around with those blockages. Now we find out, of course, there is a surgery where they can remove those blockages, but nobody has contacted my mom about that. So now my mom's a nervous wreck. What are they going to do? Is something going to happen in between? Are they going to try to remove the blockages? And of course, we can't get any answers. So I don't even know, I was fucking, we were riding on that. We had every fucking thing riding on that, that she would get the Barristan. And now it's like, well, she might get it, but is there enough time? I don't know. So I'm a little irritated about that. Imagine if, oh yeah, well that's the flip side of it. Because you know me, I told you I practice gratitude every day. I'm fully aware of the fact that I got off easy. I got heart failure and a slew of other problems, but I am still able to function normally. I'm having a little bit of dental issues, but I still got my fucking teeth. My nose is fucked up, but I'm not Artie Lang. I still have a nose. Trust me, I count my blessings, so to speak, because I know that even a few more days of usage, using alcohol and cocaine before I got help, or even going back to 2014, if I didn't get hospitalized the day I did, I could be dead or I could be in much worse condition. Trust me, I'm fully aware. I could have had a massive fucking stroke and I could be a vegetable in a fucking nursing home. Trust me. So I do know I'm lucky. That's why I said, I never take what I'm saying for, a pity party. I don't feel sorry for myself. I'm extremely grateful to be where I am, even though I have the problems I do. The only point I was trying to make is that I have all these problems because I created them, and there's many, many addicts out there who, whether they think so or not, they could still salvage their health. There's some people like Lefty, for example, might think, what's the point in getting better? I'm fucking emaciated, and because there's no way he don't notice that stuff. He might think, oh, my liver's destroyed and stuff. You don't know that. You won't find out till you stop and you get checked out, and you might find out that, holy shit, if I quit now, I could reverse the liver damage. I could put some weight back on. I could get my fucking teeth straightened out because I'd repair any broken relationships. I could get my financial situation back together. He could do that, and anybody else can too if they haven't crossed that line yet. The point of no return. And I don't mean to use him as an example. I'm not trying to bash him in any way. I'm only using him as an example because you guys know him and you've seen what condition of health he's in and his state of addiction. There's many, many lefties out there. Okay, there's probably millions, and there's a possibility they could still be saved before they go through any of this shit. I like I said, I still believe I got off easy. Don't get me wrong. But if I would have quit earlier, I wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't have congestive heart failure. I wouldn't have high fucking blood pressure. I wouldn't have all these other things, dyslipidemia, cardiomyopathy, all these. If I showed you guys my list of diagnoses, you would fucking throw up. You want to see it? I don't give a fuck. I'm an open book. Is this really Tony Pizza? Tony Pizza, I've been daring you. I got $1,400 for you, bitch. Show up. I don't even know if that's him. If it is, I'd beat the brakes off you, Tony. That's why you're terrified to come see me. I thought you were coming to fucking Harrisburg, scumbag. I guess not, fucking pussy. All right. Anyway, get rid of him and let me move on. I'll show it to you before I go. Fuck it. I was going to do this before anyway. Just so you guys know. All right. I'm doing this. I know this could bring me ridicule and all types of abuse, but maybe if somebody sees this shit, they'll say, wow, I better get my shit together. And yeah, you better. You better. Because you don't want to be in my boat. This might take me a second. I have to log in and do all this shit with my portal. Let me see. Test results, message center, schedule visits. Would it be the... After visit summary, maybe that'll have it. Nope. I just came across it the other day when I was looking around in here for all those different echocardiogram results. Bear with me, guys. Maybe it's not in results. Visits? Maybe visits. After visit summary. That's for... bear with me, guys. This shit is not easy. I have 500 million things on my portal here. All right, maybe around here. Maybe if I find an echo. What do we got? 59 people? Nice. Thanks for being here. These shows are very, very important. God damn it. Hold on. I knew this was going to take a while. What did I just get my fucking self into here? Now I'm fucking everything up. I was on a roll. The show was perfect, damn near. The fuck did I do? I never know when to quit. You motherfucker. Jesus Christ, where was my last echo? Procedure visit. Let me check that. I'm not giving up, guys. Summary, yeah, it's not summary. I'm in the WellSpan portal. Test results, yeah, that's what I'm in. I just have to get to. I think they show it usually on my echoes and stuff. Electrophysiology procedure, ICE images, hepatic function panel. I should be getting new results today, actually, because I got my blood work earlier. All right, I'm going to find it, guys. Just bear with me. Let me see. What else you guys have to say? Sean Scanlon, my prayers are with you. Just lost my mom on the 16th, and I am still lost. I hope she makes it. Bro, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's hard for me to even think about. Hard for me to think about that day. All right, I'm one step closer, guys. I know it. And the funny part is that there's probably a specific place where I could find this, like with the push of a button, but instead I'm going through all this other shit. Device read. Uh, if not, I'll have to put it up another time. I can't even find this echo. I can't even find it. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to find it, guys. I wish there was a simpler fucking way. Jesus fucking Christ. I got to fucking go through all these things. I got to keep hitting load more past visits. I just fucked this whole show up. I'm sorry. I should have ended it while I was on a fucking roll. Sons of bitches. Nothing's easy. And it's going to take me a year anyway because I don't even know. Is it in notes? Is it in after visit summary? Then once I click on something and I click back, it takes me all the way to the top again. So I got to start scrolling back down. What is an anesthesia event? Cardiac monitor. I can't find a single echo. After all those ones I posted, where in the fuck are my echocardiograms? Trust me, guys, if I find this, it's going to be fucking eye-opening. Because you don't know the half of the fucking issues I got going on. It's astonishing. It's one of those things, like if you're not looking for it, it's right there. But once you look for it, I don't know, man. I don't know. Ah, fuck it. I just fucked everything up. All right, I'll have to do this another time. It's not working out, guys. And you know me, once I get my mind set on something, I gotta fucking do it. Oh, that sucks, Jason. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I wish you could have been here for the whole show. Yeah, I know Steve Blair's a clown. Funny, I put myself into a 28-day program and I was telling the people in rehab about this show. Is that right? Oh, that's awesome, bro. I hope you're doing okay. I didn't know. When was that? I did not know that. Oh my god, I'm a fucking asshole. Is that it? Wow. Man, what's this go to? Jesus fucking Christ. No, I guess not. Motherfucker. I had my hopes up. Last month, my man, that's why I have been away. Oh, shit, bro. I hope you're doing okay, man. Hope you're doing okay. Yeah, the algorithm has really been screwing me. Don't worry. Anyway, guys, I'll have to. Yeah, I really want to do this now. I really want to fucking find this. You know me. Shit, I hope so, Steve Blair. Motherfucker. I guess not. Nah. Did you try to fucking cash at me, son of a bitch? Uh. Oh yeah, war. Yeah, that's the most important thing. I told you guys. Like, it's the amazing thing about rehab. And don't get me wrong, man. I got extremely lucky. I wound up in a fucking place that anybody, you'd have to be really, really bad off to fucking go to this rehab I went to and not just want to stay. I don't care how bad your situation is. It's fucking, I can never describe to you. It's that 21 days is probably, without a doubt, every day of that 21 days is one of the best days of my life. I mean it. The first week or so is a little fucked up. You're going through withdrawal. They got you on Librium. You're doped up. You're in a haze. You're trying to figure out what the fuck. Because I had responsibilities and shit. It's like, what do I do while I'm here? You're trying to work all that out. But once you're situated and comfortable, it's an amazing thing. To get your mind off things and just to be in a place like that with surrounded by all this beauty with the pool and the basketball courts and tennis courts and meditation and yoga and tai chi and deep tissue massages and amazing fucking food 3 times a day. I mean, beautiful. Yes, it did. Steve Blair, thank you very much. $20 for Did It Work? Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for not giving up, Steve. Guys, I feel like I need to show you this before I go. I feel like I do. I really do. I'm trying all different things. Here's look at this shit. This is just 7/22/2014 and 5/27/2015. You guys see this? CHF, congestive heart failure, hypertension, dilated congestive cardiomyopathy, hyperlipidemia, arrhythmia, anxiety, depression, headache. And that's nothing. That's when I was first diagnosed. That's nothing. You have no fucking idea. I mean, the list is way bigger. Way fucking bigger. I just got to figure out where to find it here. I probably should have took a screenshot of it when I did find it, and I wouldn't even doubt if I did. Uh, no, motherfucker. All right. Well, I guess it's not important, guys. I guess it's not important. I just I wanted to show you because I'm trying to make a fucking point, about the fact that you could save yourself a lot of health, a lot of time, a lot of heartache, a lot of money, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering if you get some help. That's all, you know. That's it. And I don't care who you are. That's just the way it is. And there's help. If you feel helpless or hopeless, there's help. You can insurance, no insurance. A lot of people use that as a roadblock, or it is a roadblock in some cases. I don't have insurance. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you. I don't know what the fuck Rusty just did. I think he sneezed out a fucking lung or something. There is help you can find. Even without insurance, you can find funding. You can find um, facilities that'll take you. You could find stuff like that. Depending on where you are, it might be the hospital. Here that don't work. Unless you go with if you go in with a medical issue, you'll be medically detoxed. But if you just walk in and say I need to be medically detoxed, they're probably not going to do it. Trust me, I've tried that at York Hospital and they wouldn't do it. But then when I went in with a health issue, that's exactly what they did. Commit yourself. Think I'm kidding? I got involuntarily committed and I got medically detoxed in 2007, January 2007. There's ways. Now, that's not a desirable option, and you really don't want to do that unless you have to. Believe me when I tell you. But, it's just. Uh, it's just another option. I know there was a time in my life where I didn't have insurance, and I had to do some behavioral health shit. I think for court, whatever, and the first thing they did was hook me up with somebody who found me funding, and they do it on a sliding scale based on your income, whatever, and they fund however much they have to fund. There's a lot of programs now. It's 2023. There's really no excuse other than lack of motivation, or maybe I guess it depends. If you're lucky enough to have people around you, a support system, people who push you and motivate you to do these things, and you know that they're going to be by your side every minute of that journey, I guess it's a lot easier, you know. But just believe me when I tell you. I'll close with this. Um, that's right, Steve Blair. Um, I forgot now. Now, I did actually forget. Get help. That's all. The quicker you do it, okay, the better off you'll be. A life is nothing to play with. Trust me. I know, that we've all been in depressions and stuff, and deep in our addiction where we feel like we want to die and there's no point in going on, and that's what I was going to get to. Even if you're completely and totally alone, even if your whole family hates you, even if you don't have a girl in your life, even if you don't have a fucking friend anywhere in this world, and you're completely and totally alone, you'd be shocked at how quickly that can change, because most likely the reason you're in that predicament is your addiction. You're in that predicament because uh, you push people away, you alienated people. People don't want to be around you. People have had to distance themselves because they maybe feel like they're enabling you. You might not be desirable to a chick or a dude, depending whether you're male or female or whatever you're into. Maybe your friends, maybe you fucked them all over, whatever. But, you go to a facility, the first thing you're going to do is meet people. You're going to meet fucking people, and you'll make connections in there, believe it or not. There'll be people there that might be able to help you get into a recovery home or something afterwards, a sober house. And then from there, you might meet somebody who's able to get you into some sort of room or apartment, And I'm talking about if you're really on the balls of your ass completely. Some people are in much better shape than that. But this is, if you're at your absolute worst. I knew a guy named Robert Dula. He died of lung cancer a few years after I met him. And it's a shame because he was a lifelong, I would say alcoholic, but he insisted on the term wino because he wasn't just an alcoholic. He drank wine. That's what he did. He lived under a bridge for years and years and years. He used to always say that. I was a wino under a bridge. Decades, fuck years. you know. And he lost everything. He lost his wife, his kids wanted nothing to fucking do with him. His health was destroyed. He lost every dime he ever had. He went for fucking decades without a job. He had no work history. You know, he was on, as far as he's concerned, you know, death's door, or at the very least, he wanted to be on death's door. He got himself clean. He came to work at the catering company I worked at while I had my DJ business, and he became a really talented cook, really, really talented, to the point where he could run these entire catering events by himself, you know, in banquet halls and shit like that. He started making pretty decent money. And while he was in a recovery house, he found somebody who was able to get him an apartment. First apartment he had in decades. He got himself an apartment through somebody he met in there. Started saving money. He would let us know, I got 1,500 in the account. I got 2,000 in the account. I haven't had money saved in forever. And sure enough, he reunited with his wife. You know, she came here from North Carolina. She moved the kids here and everything. The kids were, you know, I guess you could say they moved on their own. They were older, but they actually did. You know, they came here to live. They had lived here before, of course. They moved to North Carolina. They came back, and he had his whole family back. You know, him and his wife were back together. They fell in love all over again. Him and his kids, you know, rebuilt their relationships. So he had them as a support system. You know, he was big into AA. He would always offer, you know, for me to go with him to AA meetings and stuff. And you know, I didn't. Quite often in life, you don't realize how lucky you are to meet somebody until after they're no longer here. And you know, I scoffed at his offers to go to AA meetings and shit for so fucking long that by the time I was finally ready, or at least I thought I was, you know, he basically said to me, "Listen, Chris, there's no point in you going now. You know, I don't believe you're ready. I don't think you believe you're ready, and I don't want to waste your time or mine. When you really, really, really get to the point where you have hit rock bottom and you know you need help, I'll be here for you no matter what." And you know, not long after that, he passed away. He got diagnosed with lung cancer very late in his illness, I guess you could say, at a very late stage, and he died not long after. But he's living proof, or sorry, bad words. He um he was living proof to me that you can pick yourself up from the absolute bottom and fix yourself. Oh, okay. I got a message I got to get back to. Um, yeah, you can. You know, no matter where you're at. And he was. Don't get me wrong. This guy, when he got clean, was in his 50s. You know, he was not exactly a young man. He was in his 50s. I believe I might have met him around 55, something like that. He passed around 59. But yeah, there's a lot of stories out there like that. And there's nothing that there's. You know, my mom used to tell me, Chris, there's no mess too big that it can't be cleaned up. And that's true to an extent. But it can get to that point where it is too big to be cleaned up. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get to that point, man. Life is precious. And that's what I was getting at a minute ago, and I got sidetracked. You know, when you are at your wits' end and you think you want to die, trust me, it becomes a whole lot different when you're actually dying. You know, when you're on your deathbed and they're telling you you have hours to live, you start to go into instant regret. You know, and when you get diagnosed with an illness like mine and you start to realize that fuck me, you know, uh, I could have lived a normal life. And you know, in my position, I have Shanna, who I'm deeply in love with, and she's deeply in love with me, and we have a happy marriage. And I got my stepkids who are still fairly new to me, and I have my daughter, and I have my mother, and I have my brother, and my friends. And you know, I have to accept now that because of my actions in the past, they're not going to have me for that long. You know, this is one of the reasons I love and adore Shanna so much, and I hope she's not listening right now. But you know, Shanna can't realistically hope to grow old with me. You know, maybe, hopefully, you know, like I said, I'd love to make it into my 60s, but you know, like I said, I don't know how realistic that is. So the fact that she took on all this baggage, when she made me a part of her life. The fact that she did that is one of the reasons I love her so much, because she didn't have to do that. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Everybody, please write down um, these numbers: Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, National Addiction Hotline, and keep them close by. Keep them in your pocket, wallet, man bag, purse, fanny pack, fifth pocket. If you're a kangaroo, keep them in your pouch. And if you ever need them, they'll be close by, and you can get yourself some help. Quicker than you think. It's pretty amazing how quickly you can get things in order once you become determined to get clean and sober. The list of diagnoses, guys, I still want to show you. That one I showed you was nothing. I'm talking about 12, 13 things that are all pretty fucking serious. The things that I don't even know what they are, so I never told you about them. I'll show you that next time. I'll get it. I just had it in my fucking hands not that long ago on this thing. And guys, do me a favor. I don't care how many times I say this. I'm going to keep saying it. We did lose a friend. She was part of another community, but I considered part of this community. I considered her part of this community as well. Her name was Mims. I didn't know her nearly as well as a lot of other people did, but she seemed like an absolute sweetheart to me. And she had a lot, a lot to live for. She had her kids, she had family, she had friends, and she lost her life to this bullshit that so many people are dying from these days. And as we know, especially in her situation, oh yeah, you didn't know, Jason? Yeah. It could have been avoided if somebody would have just given a fuck enough to get her one of these, could have went right across the street to the fire station from what I understand. And because that person didn't, Mims is no longer with us. It's an absolute shame. And I would hope if you never had any personal experiences or any other reasons in your life to go out and get yourself some goddamn Narcan, that her story, would be enough to motivate you, because she was left in a van in a hospital parking lot. Um, and if anybody in a car would have seen her slumped over or something and administered this, her life could have been saved. If the guy who was with her that night administered this, her life could have been saved. And it happens all the time. I told you, at my job, Synchron, I found the guy ODing in his car. He was unconscious. He was foaming at the fucking mouth. I opened the door. He slumped over. I got, help, and they saved his life with Narcan. He was very pissed off. He flipped out on the paramedics and the cops, because that's what happens fairly often when you Narcan somebody and they go into instant withdrawal. But at least at that moment, that guy's life was saved, and Mims could have been too. And there's many, many, many lives that have been lost that could have been saved if somebody close by would have had one of these and been willing to administer it. All you have to do, I say, go out and get yourself one. You don't have to go any fucking where. Okay, yeah, she was abandoned, Miss Campione. It's a goddamn shame. All you got to do is go to nextdistro.org from the comfort of your home, from the driver's seat of your car, while you're laying on the beach, while you're at the mall. Get on your phone, no matter what it is you're doing. My point is, it takes zero effort. You could do it from anywhere. You go on nextdistro.org, you watch a little video, you fill out a little quiz, whatever, answer 4 or 5 questions, really. You put in your address and contact information, and boom, you get 4 of these in the mail. And then you can keep one in your car. You can keep one on you. Maybe you give one to your wife or husband, 2, I'm sorry, so they can have one on them, one in the car, shit like that. And you might be able to save a life. Who knows? And who knows what that life might turn into someday, You know how many great people in this country were one-time heroin addicts and stuff like that? Not to mention all over the world. So, I know how people like to look at junkies and say, "Oh, what good are they? What's the fucking point? We're better off without them." Not necessarily. You don't know who you're talking about. Everybody has somebody who loves them, and everybody has an opportunity of being something special in life. But they got to stay alive in order to do so. So please do that. Next Addiction and Recovery show, I want to see a bunch of people say hashtag I got my Narcan. You did it and got it in 5 days. Awesome, Dave. Yeah, might have been about 7, 8 days for me, but yeah. They found a guy at my daughter's work in the bathroom, 25-year-old kid. She was shook up bad, I'm sure. Oh, is that right? I don't remember, Dave. You don't even put your name, just your address. Yeah. So that's it, guys. I'll see you tonight. Love you all. And until next time, salute.